Robeson County, North Carolina, a community you may not be familiar with, one that the Lumbee tribe has made a stronghold in the southeastern region of North Carolina. As of 2023, 41% of Robeson County residents were documented as Native Americans, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. This community has over 27% of the population living below the poverty line, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. A community that is known for gang activity. Over 13,000 identified or suspected gang members are currently living in North Carolina, and over 75% of validated gang members are under the ages of 25. The city of Lumberton in Robeson County had a violent crime rate between 3 and 4 times the national average, according to the Byrne Criminal Justice Institute.
I feel scared, not gonna lie, because I don't know how I'm gonna do when I'm out of high school. I don't know how I'm gonna do, but I feel I'm gonna do good. When I'm out, I might just like go for a barbering school, do my stuff, then finish and just start cutting hair. I got split parents, and like they would always fight and stuff. And like when my mom and my dad broke up, I was alone, you know. Then when my mom started getting like boyfriends and stuff, her first boyfriend, he wouldn't really like mess with me, you know. And he would lock me in the room, and I just cry and cry. That's where I felt like pain for the first time, you know. And like my mom would be like, "How was your day?" I would not speak because he would look at me. I was just like, "All right, it's all right." I ate when I wouldn't. And then her second boyfriend, he was really chill. He was a nice person, generally caring at me. He would buy me clothes, food. That's where like I just got more like loving and stuff. Then her other boyfriend, he would like hit me sometimes, and I would just go in my room, stay there, listen to music and stuff. But I would get very violent too myself. I would hit my siblings, which I'm sorry, you know. I feel bad for doing that, but I would hit them. We would fight and stuff. But like now her current boyfriend, he's a good man. His name is Luis. He's a good man. He'll buy me stuff. He'll give me advice. He's a really chill person. And for my dad, that's a great man right there. He goes to church. He gives me advice. When I ask for something, he gives it to me. Yeah, I got a loving stepmother too. She's a nice person too. I'm glad that I have loving people around me. Not like that violent stuff anymore.
Ricardo's experiences are far too common in Robeson County. In a study done by Robeson Adverse Childhood Experiences, they found that 28.3% of study participants were subject to some kind of physical abuse in their childhood while living in Robeson County. In addition to that, over 14% experienced emotional neglect, and another 10% experienced physical neglect.
I'm grateful for all that. I haven't been in poverty or struggled, but for people that are struggling, I hope they do great, find a job. If they got an addiction, they can end it, you know. They just got to put it into God.
Imanol Juarez Jimenez is a senior at St. Paul's High School, where he competes on the soccer team, as he was found competing here in another extracurricular soccer league, which he plays every Sunday with mostly men that are older than him. He's now preparing to enter the Navy. He talks about his experiences here in Robeson County in the following.
Well, it's been all right. It's been pretty easy. Nothing much really goes on around here. Not too much drama. Like in other states or other counties, you probably hear like all these things going on, like killing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's been pretty easy here. School's easy. Life's easy here. It's pretty fun. Well, I've already enlisted into the Navy. I already swore in and everything. I picked my job as mechanical engineer because I want to get more into machinery.
Remarkably, in Robeson County, the median income household is less than $40,000. The median property value is less than $90,000, and yet home ownership is only 65% amongst adults. Both senators are currently Republicans that represent this area. We stumbled upon this Sunday soccer league tournament in Red Springs. Community can be felt deeply here. From the pupusa vendors to the Mexican food vendors, Sonoran-style hot dogs on flat-top grills and vats of horchata brings an element of sweetness to a community that on paper has little to smile about.
At school, I've seen, in high school mainly, not middle school, but in high school, I see, people always talking about things like that, like drugs and all that. It's never really affected me, though, because I never affiliate myself with those kind of things, and they usually, we call it, the bullies, they usually go for, people who are, weaker, stuff like that look like, they'll be an easy target. I just don't let myself like I'm not an easy person to get to when it comes to things like that. They don't mess with me, I don't mess with them, and it's always been like that for me. So that's why in my experience, life's been pretty easy for me. It's been cool.
Above all, this is a community that has maintained hope. I met with community leaders and high schoolers on the heels of the general election to hear what they had to say about Robeson County and their hopes for the future of their home, this country, and their state.
I haven't voted yet, and honestly wasn't thinking about voting because I honestly don't know where to vote. That's number one starters. I probably would vote for Trump. Like, in all seriousness, I think like ever since Trump left the election, in my opinion, I think what it really helped our country out a lot by, like, making allies with like Russia. For example, I think not too long ago, Russia declared the U.S. as an enemy when Biden was president, and I feel like having Harris as president will lead to like another war, in my opinion. Especially my parents, since they're immigrants, they're illegal aliens. So, like when they see all this that he wants to take us all out, send us back for where we came from. Yeah, it does. Like it affects me in a way because it puts me down as a person. Because it's like, dang, like no, I feel like in my opinion, no president should like, as a president, he shouldn't be saying those kind of things, like the jokes that were said at the rally. It just like gives like, especially the Latin community, it gives them a different view on, Trump.
Stephanie Edwards, also known as Steffi by most of her friends, is a licensed social worker, clinical therapist, and See It coordinator at North Carolina's Youth Violence Prevention Center. She's been doing this for a number of years and helping to combat youth violence, youth gang activity, and what's known as an ACE, which is an adverse childhood experience. Now, you'll see her here talking about the kind of work that she's been doing in this community of Robeson County, and here it is.
We were talking about ACEs, and we offer free therapy to those kids, and we offer different events to teach them conflict resolution. And what we have noticed is that there is a lot of intertwining. So for instance, a lot of our kids, they can't make it to after school programs, they can't make it to jobs, they can't make it to even the therapeutic services that we have around here. They don't even have access to driving, or they don't have public transportation in Robeson County so that they can make it to a lot of things. We also have kids, if we are speaking about ACEs and we are talking about like poverty and how that affects kids, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of, I think a lot of hopelessness in a lot of our kids as well. So we see a lot of that kind of intertwining into a lot of anger, rage, depression, hopelessness, and all things under that. Been a lot of I think just honestly anybody in like Gen Z, lower millennial, even alpha kids, we're noticing a lot of that hopelessness in them and a lot of apathy towards the future. And I think that is having a lot of effect in how aware they are of like different politics going on. They don't have hope for like homes. They don't have hopes for having kids. We hear it all the time, especially like in our young adults. It's like I'm never going to be able to afford a home. I'm not going to be able to go to college. And so I think a lot of that is coming up with these kids, and I think that's a challenge that we're facing, is trying to build that hope. As therapists, we want to help them find that hope again, but it can be challenging, especially if you guys have driven around here, there's not a lot of jobs, there's not a lot of places to go. The biggest thing is I think people are just looking for hope. I think that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a promise of a future. Kids are really looking for a promise of a future. And so having people that we elect that can provide that, I think is super important to not just the kids, but to the families as well. They want to know that they can have safety. And, if we're looking at like the hierarchy of needs, like what do we need? We need safety. So safety, trust that the system will be there for them, and then also that hope is going to be super important.
Stephanie, Ricardo, and Imanol have all showed in different ways how hope can still survive in communities that have been disenfranchised, such as Robeson County. And in these areas, there is adversity and forces that work against the youth, but because of people like Stephanie, there is room and hope for positive change. And Ricardo and Imanol have shown that in spite of your circumstances, there's still room for light and positivity.